Okay, in this video I'm going over UFC Fight Night, Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. The card overall was pretty good. The main card was decent. There was a lot less finishes in the prelims, but it was still very entertaining. Fight of the night was on the main card, Mikozel Costa versus Julian Erosa, which we'll get into in a second. Overall, I'm happy with the card. It was pretty good. The main event was it was a finish and it was what I wanted, but it was also like kind of weird, but we'll get into that. So we'll start with Julian Erosa versus Mikozel Costa. I went with Costa. I thought he was going to be a lot better on the feet in general. I think Julian Erosa is super sloppy. And he is. He's really fucking sloppy. And in this fight, he proved my point. He came out there. He's just sloppy, man. Julian Erosa is sloppy, but he has a great fucking forward pressure that he utilized in the third round really well. Mikozel Costa did his thing in the first and second on the feet. He did it well. He was able to land the better shots. Mikozel Costa is like pretty exciting. I like Mikozel Costa as a prospect. I hope he goes forward and does well. But in the first and second round, Mikozel is just doing more on the feet with like more impactful shots. Every single time Julian Erosa gets hit, it looks like he's wobbled at least a little bit. But that's just what Julian looks like when he fights. But not good optics for Julian Erosa. Mikozel Costa was hitting him good. He was tagging him up. He was chewing him up, his legs up. He was just stinging Julian Erosa on the feet really badly. And for the first and second, of course. The third round, Julian Erosa started just saying fuck it and throwing to the wind while pressing forward, which Mikozel Costa was able to still hang in there. Like, I could give that round to Julian Erosa, and watching it in person, I did give it to Julian Erosa just because I really like the pressure forward. But it was still really sloppy, and he wasn't landing super clean. And Costa had done all the damage up until that point. He was still landing a lot of shots in the third. I knew he won the fight, but it was a good effort from Julian Erosa in the third round. It was impressive. But he is just very sloppy and kind of, I don't know, he's just not that good. I don't think he's very good. And Mikozel is proving to be good. He's proving to be very technical and sound. There's grappling exchanges that he did well in. Julian tried to go for takedowns. He went for 10, so he went for a couple. He got 3. Costa went for 3, got 2. So, yeah, 128 total strikes to 85. Mikozel clearly won, but Julian definitely gritted down when he needed to. Made it entertaining, made it fight of the night. They both got a bonus. Good for them. Yeah, good start to the main card. The prelims were a lot better, though. Next, Dustin Soltis versus Nursultan Ruziboev. Every single fight on this card kind of has the same story besides the main event. Ruziboev just landed a lot better than Dustin Soltis in the first and second round. And in the third round, Dustin Soltis started doing his thing. Very similar to the last fight. But Nursultan he's interesting the way he fights. He's sloppy on the feet, but he is also efficient and he lands big shots. When Dustin would land, it would land, but it wouldn't land with a thud like the fucking power Nursultan did. And Nursultan was throwing like crazy shit. Like he threw like 8 spinning wheel kicks, it felt like, and he landed like every single one. Maybe blocked, but landed with impact every single spinning wheel kick he threw. And then other times he looked super sloppy and was like falling around, but still landing. It was very interesting the way he fought this fight. Dustin had his moments, but overall Nursultan had the bigger moments, the better moments. He cut open Dustin Soltis really bad. He did all the damage. His height and reach played a pretty good part, but the striking numbers are pretty close, 41 to 53 in favor of Nursultan. That's not bad for Dustin, and Dustin had more. He had a better grappling performance than Nursultan did. He had a slick submission attempt in the first round, in which Ruziboev had to kind of survive, like big time survive, because he almost tapped. It felt like he almost tapped, even though the guillotine didn't look in at all. He still almost tapped, which was scary for my pick. But, oh yeah, I did really good on picks, by the way. I got 100% on the main card. And I'm sure I would have got it right if Paul Craig versus Bellato would have happened. But Bellato pulled out due to herpes or some shit. So that's stupid and kind of ruined the card. But, whatever, who cares? The card those aren't stars that we need to see fight. But yeah, Ruziboev just did better work. He did everything he needed to, and he mixed it up on the feet well. And Dustin is kind of just generic as a fighter. No, Sultan, I don't think he's going to go very far, though. I will say that. I don't think he's that good. And he's been showing too much weakness in his game as of late. And I think you should destroy Stoltzfus if you're going to have a really good career. So I think Nuzoltan's probably hit his limit range of fighter. But he did have a good performance. Still kind of close. I'm glad Nursultan won. Next, Sadiq Yusuff versus Marion Santos. So, Marion, I picked him to win. He looks like a baby Jamal Hill. He looks really like bloated at lightweight, which I wonder why he wanted to move to lightweight in the first place, but it was just odd seeing him like that. It was weird. He looked like, it made me very worried for my pick, because Marion came out there looking like fat almost. It was weird. He looks odd, but he's always kind of looked like that, but at lightweight he looked like Jamal Hill. He looked like Jamal Hill body-wise, but just smaller, and it was not a good look, and it made me nervous, but he got this one done. Outstruck Sadiq Yusuff. All 3 rounds I thought he did. He just pieced apart Sadiq Yusuff on the feet. Sadiq had his moments, of course, it's a fight, but I thought Marion controlled it very well on the feet. Sadiq had a good leg kick game in the first round, but Marion was checking almost all of them. I thought he was doing a really good job checking those kicks, and then he would land the better shots. He'd land his teep well. He'd land his own low kicks well. He'd land straight shots that stung Sadiq Yusuff, and he kind of had him oh shit, in a couple of shots in which Yusuff, whenever he would land on Marion, there was no reaction. There was no big oh fuck kind of thing. But I feel like every single time Yusuff got hit, he was almost like, oh shit. It was weird. And I know Yusuff's been out for a long time and he's not active, so I'm sure that played a big part. I'm not surprised Santos got this one done. But it is kind of just weird. This fight's kind of weird. I don't know. It's odd. But I think Marion clearly won. Some people think otherwise. I don't know. I think that's dumb. Sadiq went for grappling attempts, went for takedown attempts. He got one, but Marion clearly controlled it on the feet. Damage-wise, Marion won. He was throwing crazy knees and shit too. He just is good at that. He's good at throwing on the feet to hurt his opponent and have big moments. And he succeeded in that. And Sadiq kind of looked a little lost on the feet when it came to this performance. So, Santos gets it done. I'm happy about this. I like his striking style a lot. He's going to go forward and be exciting. He's only 24, I think. So that's super fun to see what he will do in the future. We will see. Next, the main event, Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. So this is sad, but also what I kind of thought was going to happen. Michael Morales pretty much killed Gilbert Burns. He beat the shit out of him and knocked him out. But it wasn't like a cool, flashy knockout by any means. It wasn't a Carlos Prates, Neil Magny. It wasn't even Michael Morales' last knockout against Neil Magny. But it was a knockout. But it was weird. Gilbert Burns, they traded on the feet for a little bit. Gilbert started throwing crazy for a second and then shot for a takedown, got it. Michael got back up right away. And then Michael just laid it on him with shots and started clipping him. And Gilbert, from the start of the fight, Gilbert seemed like he was trying to survive the fight. From the very beginning, it looked like Gilbert was surviving. Whenever there was an exchange, he would look like he was like, please don't fucking hit me. He was scared of getting hit. It almost seemed like. And then he started getting clipped up more, and Michael kind of sensed that, I think. He sensed the fear a little bit, and he started just throwing. And he's athletic and powerful, so he's able to land these shots, and it probably does, sting and fucking hurt. But I feel like it was a lot of Gilbert Burns being, timid. Oh, fucking please don't hit me. Because he wasn't even, throwing huge back at him, not as he needed to do more, but he just never did. And then eventually he just shelled up, went to the ground. I think he got back up and then shelled back down. And then the ref stopped it. He tried to hang in there. I think Gilbert Burns is done. He's 38 years old. He's taken a lot of damage in his career. I think he's probably done. Michael Morales made this look pretty simple. And he didn't show a lot of like flashy technique or anything. He didn't show any like grit or like anything that I'm going to take away from this fight for any future predictions besides like that he's powerful and athletic. But I already knew that. It's more just like Gilbert Burns is probably fucked, which is sad. But I knew that going in. He's 38 years old, been out for a year. He got knocked out in his last fight. This was bound to happen. But overall, this card was okay. The prelims were actually pretty fun. There was a lot of finishes on the prelims. The main event was um, eventful, but also doesn't really do anything for the future of the UFC hype wise. Like it doesn't really like. There's not a lot of moving parts to this card. And to be honest, every single fucking card is kind of shit. Every single one has very little weight to it. It seems like nowadays, and it's really annoying. This next card is Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber, May 31st. So we have a lot of time before that, which I don't like layoffs for the UFC, but I get it. But why are we having layoffs if we're just going to get this? Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber as a main event. Gamrot, Ludovic Klein in the co-main. I do like that a lot. But if Gamrot's the least exciting contender on the roster, probably. No, that's a lie. But he's not exciting. He's a grappling hungry freak that doesn't finish fights. So it's not. Klein's pretty exciting, so it might be cool. But this card sucks, kind of. It's just not what I want from a UFC card. And then UFC 316 is also kind of shit. So, like, why is Kelvin Gastelum on a feature fight of a UFC card in 2025? Like, come on. Like, what? Like, come on. Doesn't make any sense. But, enough ranting about how the UFC sucks. This card was pretty good. And I did really good on predictions, so I'm happy about that. So, see you soon. Let me know what you think about my takes.